The Sony PlayStation boycott is happening, and most likely very, very soon. We are so much past the point of being reasonable. Everything that Sony has done in the past couple of months has been extremely anti-consumer. They have done so many things that everyone hates and that only benefits their pockets. It's kind of abnormal, honestly. And it seems the tipping point has definitely been reached with Sony's most recent announcement of no more physical because that loses us pennies on the dollar. Which is just, again, another form of complete greed for no reason. And this post right here, by the way, has gotten more than 20 million extra views from when we talked about this yesterday. Honestly, it hasn't been even a full 24 hours since I last talked about it. But today we're talking about the boycott. That again is gonna happen some point because people are needless to say upset. A lot of different people are currently contemplating the boycott, asking for people to cancel their PlayStation Plus subscriptions, stop the pre-orders of their consoles, and things of that nature. Needless to say, it's all understandable that people asked for this because something that's currently not getting enough attention is the fact that Sony has just added more DRM to your already hopeless existence. This one is, if you don't log in 3 years, well, your account is gone and everything that you bought is now gone. And we're actually not deleting your account, we're keeping your account so you have a chance to come back. But you have to rebuy everything because money. Money. All of this is about greed. None of this is about actual profitability. This is just pure greed. Sony's profitable already. They're making money. Well, a little bit about that, a little bit more. This is just foreshadowing, let's call it. But in any case, Sony is doing everything they can pretty much to get as much money out of you as possible. Is it just ripping things out of your library, which they have already done with movies and certain games, actually? Or is it just finding creative ways to cancel your account or revoke the purchase that you already have, but not giving you your money back? Sony's gonna have to learn the hard way that piracy is not stealing if you act like this, I am afraid. But in any case, the boycott is definitely something that I feel is gonna happen. And there are a lot of people slowly starting to talk about this because, again, Sony's situation, pretty much since what they did from Destiny, is kind of unacceptable. A lot of people in the Destiny community are already technically boycotting Sony. Admittedly, they're more taking this from the we're boycotting Bungie type of standpoint, but it's the same thing at the end of the day. So we already have a community that is pretty favorably and pretty demonstrably boycotting and putting a dent in Sony. And make no mistake, by the way, this is creating a dent. Because a lot of people, while they are asking for a boycott, we even have Endymion, okay? Great guy, friend of the channel, obviously, yes, the best, in fact, surely, is saying physical retailers are now calling for fans to boycott Sony PlayStation by canceling their PS Plus subscriptions. The firestorm is beginning, isn't it? Yeah, pretty much. And this, by the way, was a post from 5 days ago, honestly, which is kind of crazy. The original post is this. And yeah, there are companies, smaller companies, that are not exactly doing this out of altruistic opinions and beliefs. They also are doing this because this is costing them money. But, hey, two wrongs sometimes do make a right, so I welcome their support in the downfall of PlayStation. Sony, please do not send missiles in my location, okay? Please don't. It's not worth it, honestly, okay? Sony makes a lot of their money through making missiles and tank parts. In any case, yeah, there's a lot of posts, but they don't currently get too many views. But we don't need this, okay? This is currently just the start. This was, again, mostly July 1st. And trust me, the chances that this overgrows into just, hey, how about we boycott PlayStation slash Sony is gonna be very likely. Boycott every single game released on PlayStation until Sony reverses this stupid decision. Sony has confirmed they will stop making physical copies, and again, this was at the early stage. Currently, people are just kind of mad and calling out Sony for, I think it's now more than 6 times, by the way, that they have gotten somehow the community notes removed. How are they doing this? We still, by the way, don't know. Is it some kind of person at Twitter doing this? Are they going like, Moshi Moshi, Elon Kun? I'm not, I'm gonna just tell you straight up. How about you remove the thing? Okay, thank you very much. And then it gets put on in seconds because it's not working. Sony cannot win the tide. But no matter how this is happening, people are currently mostly just upset about this. But again, it's gonna happen. And there are some people who are already gulping down the delicious protein of Sony and defending it. That the boycott is useless, guys. It's not gonna achieve anything. I have found one of the stupidest posts in this case. And again, it's not even too popular, but it is a post and it's pretty funny. Because the whole point of this is people don't really understand how effective boycotts are and how easy it is for a boycott to actually have tremendous impact. And we're going to read this and then I'm going to explain that to you. Because boycotting something like Sony is far, far, far more easy than you actually think. Physical paladins finally realized that customer boycott is useless and now are investing full-blown fan fiction where developers willingly commit financial Minecraft by boycotting Sony to defend plastic. I mean, this opinion can only be done by, I don't know what kind of absolute mouth breather you need to be for an opinion like this, honestly, but hey, here we go. PlayStation brings in roughly 30 billion annually. A platform holder generally that kind of cash can only absorb a handful of rogue developers throwing a tantrum. No one cares about your stupid opinions. The fact that you wrote this already means you're completely clueless. And then there's a picture of, I have no fucking idea what that is. I don't care. Okay? Let me tell you how actually ridiculously easy it would be to boycott Sony and potentially ruin them. Okay? Boycotts are far more easier than you think. For example, one of the greatest and easiest boycotts of all time is considered the Bud Light boycott, where they did some, what did they do? Some non-gender binary bullshit? I don't remember, but it was some woke shit. Their sales volume dropped by 25%. Peak. That is honestly not that much. And yet the company almost completely got destroyed. Their future prospects, they had to let go of people. They had to reduce their sales. They had to reduce everything. And that's just from 25%, okay? And a bottle of Bud Light or whatever is relativistically the same percentile wise and value-wise as, honestly, a PlayStation Plus or whatever. And now let's look at what Sony has. Sony is already not in a good position, by the way, which would make the boycott even more powerful. Just from official sources, we know that Sony is taking impediment loss, which is not real money, but in Sony's case, it might as well be real money, honestly, in a lot of situations and things where this would matter for them. Almost a 1 billion loss for acquiring Bungie, and Bungie's evaluation loss because they bought it for like 4 billion, and Bungie now is a former ghost of what it once was. Pretty disgusting. And the destruction of Destiny too. So this probably number is getting even worse by the day as we speak, obviously. Marathon's, by the way, pretty much dead if you're wondering. I think it's now officially below 7K. It's so dead I'm not even making a video. So a lot of things are going wrong. Sony's recent catalog of games in general is not exactly games, but it's more like gay games. Okay, that's kind of what we're having. Marvel's Wolverine looks completely just garbage, and that's pretty much most of the things that they are doing. Sony is on a generational run to destroy their gaming franchise, and it's working. When we look now, let's actually look at what we need to achieve. PlayStation Plus mainly approximates 50 to 51.6 million active subscribers, and 40 of them are total subscribers at PlayStation Plus network. How true is this? I don't know. The other source I found is Statistica, and if you have seen any of my videos, then I tell you never look at Statistica. It's pure garbage, okay? People who have not finished fucking 12th grade are making these graphs in some cases, honestly. But in any case, I just wanted to show you this number because I want to show you in practice how little do we need to do to fuck Sony over, okay? What do you think needs to be currently the loss in PlayStation Plus subscriptions to damage Sony to a reasonable degree? 20%, 30%, 4, 5. The answer is 5%. With the margins of how much actual real profit, not revenue, but profit they are getting from all of these activities is not that great. That's why I said we can actually kind of closely compare it to Bud Light, unironically, because a lot of their margins are not that great. Which means the real money that they have to work with is kind of not that high, and this is 100% true, even if we don't know the actual number because of what we know from Xbox, by the way, if you did not know. And so 5% damage to roughly 50 million PlayStation Plus subscribers would be literally 2.5 million. That is an achievable number, and that number in reality would most likely mean that upcoming big projects that are further away in the future get cancelled. Just 5% would mean that upcoming projects in the future get cancelled. 5% would mean that the CEOs of PlayStation are not getting their yearly bonuses. Which means that these CEOs would instantaneously raise the price of PlayStation Plus subscriptions. But they already are planning to do that. Or did they already do it? I don't know, on PlayStation Plus. But it either just happened or it's going to happen very soon. There is a one price hike that's planned at this point. So they can't exactly just raise the price again. Xbox is actually trying to lower the prices, and no, they're not really lowering the prices, but they're doing a lot of tricky, icky things to make it seem that they're lowering the prices. Because they found out, oh wait, we can't actually just bump up the Game Pass price constantly without any recompense. And PlayStation has not yet seen that. So, there's only so much the price that they can boost until they lose a lot of these players. So, a boycott of a mere 2.5 million, which probably is very easy considering how many people this alone has reached, would mean the cancellation of future upcoming titles, CEOs not getting any type of recompense and yearly bonuses, and probably some people are going to get fired. That's just 5%. We can probably easily do 10%. 10% means that definitely people are getting fired. The new games that are coming are gonna probably get canceled. I mean, look at Xbox currently. They are canceling games that are already good. Not good, but already finished just because they don't think they're gonna sell enough, and a tax write-off is way better than releasing the game at this point. 10% could push Sony for that. Again, their profit margins are not enough to sustain this. We don't need 50% of the PlayStation Plus players to boycott it to achieve ginormous success. We just need 5 to 10, and Sony's gonna feel the heat. People are gonna get fired, and they're gonna real quick start panicking. Because that will also mean that in general they need to downscale their operations. And when you're downscaling operations and your money is not already good, because again, I personally think that Sony's probably with their gaming division in the -1 to 2 billion range for what they have lost with their recent antics. But that's my opinion, okay? Who am I? Just the guy who has been extremely right about most of the things he just magically pulls out of the nether. Must be luck, as always. Anyway, so yeah, we don't need a lot to damage Sony. We don't need a lot to make the executives get fired. We do not need that much. We just need 5 to 10% of people, and Sony's gonna panic. They're gonna start shutting things down. And since, needless to say, the future of Sony is not looking honestly that bright, considering that, well, their most impressive current game that's coming out is Hag of Wall Laundry. That's gonna bust. Everyone knows that. Well, it's gonna sell a lot, but it's not gonna sell as much as they want. It's gonna be a success theoretically, but it's not gonna be as big of a success as they want. There's no way. And other than that, Sony wants to return to live service games, which everyone clearly wants because that did not fail already once. And yeah, with all of the things in gaming failing, and how much pressure on Sony would a 5% boycott for PlayStation Plus? Just that, by the way. Not even talking about you not buying games, which would be even a bigger impact when all of that combines. Because it's not like 5% missed things here, 5% there, it's 10%, boo hoo. No. It's 5%, 5%, and in total, that pretty much ruins Sony by 50%. This is how these things can compact. Now, granted, the explanation why that actually works like that is pretty long and complicated, so I'm not gonna do it. But trust in the system. It's not just 5% here, 5% there, it's 10%. No, the damage gets multiplied pretty fast in a lot of these cases. In any case, that's pretty much it. Remember, we can destroy Sony. A boycott on Sony is not that hard, especially at this point. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Have a nice day. Bye. Subscribe right now. It takes less than a second. Bye.